Hey team, welcome back to Fitness TV with Fine Fit People. My name's Grant Goes, and today we're going to talk about microbes and toxins. It's a little bit different today, where we're going to talk about a specific topic itself. So if you guys have questions, you have comments, let us know. But we're talking about that with Orla from Ireland straight after this. Hey guys, welcome back to Fitness TV. Today it's the weekend, which is a fantastic time of the month, and as you can see, Brown Dog's with us here in the studio as well. If you join us today, guys, we're going to be talking all about simply microbes and toxins, but before we do, let's just cover a couple of news pieces that's happened. One of the biggest ones is the Europa League. Actually, it was decided last night in Cologne in Germany. Sevilla came out victors, and it's quite a big one because this is the 6th time they've won the Europa Championships. That's a record time. They weren't expected to win. Manchester United were expected to win. They were expected to face Inter Milan in this final. It didn't happen out that way whatsoever. But what it is their striker who hit for, the winner goal for them last game, also put home the winner this time as well. It was a slightly different competition this time because if you're used to the Europa League or the Champions League, they normally have an away and a home game to decide who goes through to the next round. But this one was decided simply on one-off games, one-off matches that were played in a neutral space, and that's how it kind of went through the format. So these guys, they came through, they were triumphant, so big ups and a big well done to Sevilla for winning the Europa Cup this year. Awesome work indeed. Also here in the UAE, keeping it local. We love to keep it local, which is awesome. The IPL cricket teams are landing at the moment. They've actually, a couple of teams have landed today. Remember, that kicks off in early September. That starts off, which is quite exciting for the cricket fans in the region. All these games are going to take place either in Sharjah Cricket Stadium, Dubai International Cricket Stadium, or Abu Dhabi in Zayed Cricket Stadium down there. Lots of games to go on. It's like 6 weeks of competition. It's fast, it's fiery, and it's going to be a lot of fun for everyone to be involved with. So just a couple of quick bits of sporting news locally and abroad. What we're going to do though, we're going to jump straight into the next segment. So after the break, we're talking about microbes. So if you've got comments, if you've got questions you want to ask, you definitely want to ask this expert. She's a wonderful lady who's got so much knowledge on the topic, and we're going to find out more with her straight after this. Guys and girls, welcome back. It's Saturday. That means it's the weekend wherever you are in the world. My name's Grant Goes. This is Fitness TV with Fine Fit People. Thanks for joining us. Today we're talking about microbes and toxins. So if you've got any questions, please put them in the comment section down below. Now, we've got a guest from Ireland. It's nice and early in the morning over there. And here she is. She's on the other side. I'm just going to unmute her speaker so she can hear us and we can hear her. Good morning, Orla.
Good morning, Grant. How are you?
Oh, we got the old, the old, what's it called, the Star Trek thing going on. No volume coming through. Just going to check, 2 seconds, we're going to double check on the volume to come through so we can hear you.
Right.
Could be a very quiet interview otherwise, a very quiet talk. Just as a repeat, guys, while we're just waiting for the audio to come through, if you guys have comments, questions, please put them in the comment section on our Facebook, on our Instagram, as we find out more about microbes, find out more about toxins in this day and age. Because I've got lots of questions for you, Orla. So as soon as we get your audio coming through, I'm going to fire a whole lot of questions at you. So maybe we can do a little bit of preparation beforehand. I think it's just the volume on one of the devices is not turned up, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Not to worry. Hold on. No. Okay, what we're going to do, well, we're going to come back to you in a couple of minutes. We're going to have a quick break and we'll come back and then we'll get back into you. Just going to fix the audio.
Perfect.
Okay?
No hassle.
We've all been there. Hours searching the internet, asking friend upon friend, making call after call, trying to find the right fitness professional, health specialist, or sports coach. So much time, energy, and even money spent only to find more problems than solutions. Well, now, with the Find Fit People platform, you can find all the available professionals with the skills you need in an instant. We've removed all the barriers by establishing a community of many different skilled health specialists, sports coaches, and fitness professionals that are alerted immediately once you posted your request. In under 30 seconds, you can attract multiple professionals with the right skills to help you achieve the result you want. It's simple, fast, and free. Find us online at www.findfitpeople.com or download the Find Fit People app from Apple or Google Play stores so you can find fit people today.
Get ready to commence your sub-30 core workout in 30 seconds. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You've done this.
Finished your sub-30 core workout. Well done.
Sub30fitness.com. Now it's a black screen.
There she is, cool. Coming back in. Oh. Okay, we're back on stride. Great, excellent. Welcome back to Fitness TV with Find Fit People. We've got the volume sorted. We're going to get that arrow off there in a second as we get through this one. Orla, let's jump straight into it with you, because you can hear me, right?
I can hear you perfectly.
Perfect, excellent. We're going to bring you back on screen actually, so it's better than just having me on there by myself. You know how it is. So if we can hear you, so that's a great thing, that's an awesome thing. Let's jump straight into it. We're going to start with microbes. The biggest question to start with most people is, what is a microbe?
So there's various different types of microbes. I guess microbes is an umbrella term, but definitely looking at things like within that, you're looking at things like bacteria, fungus, pathogens, some of them can be opportunistic, some of them can be dysbiotic, which means they can go against your health, they can hinder your health. So it depends on the terrain or the environment that these microbes are in. And by that I mean like the pH of the intestines and things like that as well, or exposure to various different things in our environment. So there's a whole host of different things there. So it's probably, microbes is an umbrella term for a lot of kind of organisms.
Cool. You've referred to them as one of the pillars of nutrition, right?
Yes, absolutely, because we are more bacterial cells than we are human cells. So it's really, really important that we have what's known as a good microbiome, or a diverse microbiome, so that we have a good diversity of good bacteria. And you'll hear that in terms of like probiotics and all of these kind of things. That's essentially the same thing as good bacteria. So it's our job and our immune system's job to make sure that there's a good balance there, so the bad bacteria is as low as possible and the good bacteria is proliferating.
Totally, massively. One of the biggest things that I know that's become a bit more of a, and I don't want to say trend, but it's becoming, there's more awareness, I suppose, is what I want to say, is the awareness of, like, everyone's having now, a lot of people talking about having kefir in the morning as a drink they prepare overnight, and it's become more of a, it's become more awareness. A lot more people than I know are now taking good bacteria with their diet on their nutritional plans. Have you noticed that, or are you seeing that as well?
Oh yeah, huge. I mean, it's a massive, massive industry in terms of probiotic-rich foods, fermented foods, things like that. And it's very, very, I guess, in our society today, it is probably prevalent. It's definitely relevant. We do need to take these things either from food or from capsule format, but definitely looking at, you know, the health of the gut and your ability to use those things, because a lot of the time, if you overdo good bacteria and things like that as well, you can be producing more gas. You can kind of hinder the biome and hinder the intestinal kind of environment. So it's really important that you kind of you try these things at the start and slowly build up within the system, if that makes sense. But yeah, there's a huge surge in that now.
Awesome. What is it then? Because I know people want to probably even try it themselves. So they're going to start to understand it now. What about where do they start? What do they start with? Or what is it an assessment? Is it just simply go out and start creating your own? Where would you recommend people start?
Yeah, really good question. So I would say that if you don't have any digestive offset or any kind of digestive systems, and you're just looking to bring in a little bit more health and wellness into the diet, then definitely looking at fermented foods is a really, really good thing. So looking at kefir, looking at things like kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, adding these things in can be really, really beneficial. And again, building yourself up and seeing if you have any symptoms coming out of that in terms of gas or in terms of anything else. If you do have digestive symptoms, what I would say is doing something like a stool test, or getting a really good indication of the microbiology and your ability to digest and absorb foods first before you start putting in a probiotic, because quite often putting in a probiotic doesn't necessarily just fix everything at the start. If you do have digestive upset, you may be looking at having to put in enzymes first. You may need zinc, various different things like that. So I would say if you're starting off at that point in terms of having symptoms, then maybe get an assessment first and see where you need to, what strains you maybe need to get in, because if there's a bad bacteria in there that you maybe need to get rid of first, or if there's a history of antibiotic use, because antibiotics, remember, will kill all bacteria, good and bad. So it depends on the environment that you put these things into as well.
Cool. Who would you see for that?
In terms of doing a test, you mean?
Yes, sorry, yeah.
So there's loads of different labs out there that will do tests, but there's one that I use in America called Doctor's Data, which does a comprehensive stool test, and it does a 2-day test. It does a 3-day one as well. You can get a parasite assay onto that as well. So that's a fairly comprehensive test in terms of telling you your ability to digest and absorb. It gives you your secretory IgA, which is your immune marker within the gut as well. So it gives you various different pieces of information that you're then able to use to try and change your diet and to try and manipulate the symptoms.
Yeah, massive, awesome. When it comes to, I mean, kefir is one of the big ones that's always come out. So let's go just there. Make it simple for everybody. Make it like, yes, let's do this. How do you prepare and make it?
Kefir, so there's various different ways. People can do it either via milk or they can do it via water, depending. But you will need to add sugar to it in order to create that good bacteria. So there's lots of different recipes out there, but generally speaking, it's either a milk-based or a water-based. And you can go dairy milk, non-dairy milk, whatever you suit, whatever suits your body. Because some people have issues with dairy in terms of being able to digest the sugar, which is the lactose. Other people, it's the casein, but definitely it's the grain with the milk and the added sugar, or you can use water as well.
Oh, I can see. There you go. Look at that, guys. Straight off the bat, here's a tip. Get into your kitchen and start preparing, start making this stuff, because booyah, it makes it happen.
It's quite a process, though, in terms of the time that you give it. It's like making a starter for sourdough bread, and it's like a SCOBY as well for kombucha and things like that as well. So all of these things, there's a process.
Massively, hugely. With microbes and the effect that it has on people, and like obviously it's nutritional based, and we talk about how many different scenarios you have to put or have to create to be able to go forward. What's a common scenario that is out there in the lifestyle, health and fitness, or nutrition, wherever you like to put it, scenario where people are starting to, or should be looking more into having better bacteria or the use of microbes, I should say?
Definitely if you're immune compromised, so if you have any kind of low immunity in terms of an autoimmune condition, I would also say anyone that is high stress, because the good bacteria in our world is a very, very good adaptogen for stress. It really, really gives us that defense mechanism. I would also say anyone in the athletic world as well, because again, you are stressing your body out when you're doing like high intensity training and things like that as well. It's the recovery from that which is the benefit, but it's making sure that you do have a defense there, because remember as well, just being in nature, just being in our environments, we are exposed to lots of different bacteria and lots of different pathogens. We will ingest them through our skin, through our nose, through our nose passage and our mouth. So it's really important that we have that defense. So anyone really will benefit from good bacteria, but if you want to be very specific, then anyone that's higher stress definitely would benefit from putting them in straight away.
Cool. Let's give it more a base about like what's happening currently in the year of Jumanji 2020 with everything that's going on. Two things that do stand out, and you mentioned them very quickly then, was about stress. And so let's hit that one first. Where can we work as far as like the good bacteria? What could we be doing as far as microbes to help relieve stress or to help handle stress today?
So that's a really good question and a really broad question. But what I would say is that if you're if you're a very, very stressed out person, if you live in that kind of fight or flight mode an awful lot of the time, the digestive system will be compromised. So it's really important that you can try and stabilize yourself, because if your environment can't change or your situation can't change, then you can really look at adapting and helping support your internal environment. So by putting in probiotics, definitely in that line, it will be really, really beneficial. And also the biggest thing that you're trying to do with good probiotics is really, really boost that immune system. And that's exactly what we need now during this pandemic is that support for the immune system. So stress is a huge one. So if you can't change stress, then definitely look at being able to put in the probiotics. The other thing is, if you are trying to change stress, look at various lifestyle behaviors as well. So, making sure that you're doing deep breathing, making sure that you're trying to do some meditation or mindfulness, or those kind of practices that you do every day. And that's the reason they're called the practices, because you have to practice them. They won't change your life overnight, but it is something that if you get into the habit of doing it, definitely has a huge knock-on effect in bringing that stress response down. And then if you're adding a probiotic or good bacteria into that, it's a really, really good mechanism then to protect the immune system, to help with stress, to help your body adapt to various different things. And it's very good for skin health, for digestive health, lots of other different things.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. I think I'm going to keep this one quite close to what we're just talking about here at the moment, because with the whole, I know New Zealand's gone back into a lockdown. I know other countries are in lockdown when it comes to the COVID-19 pandemic. Depression's another one. Anxiety is another one that kicks in, one of those emotional things that happen. From your side in the relation with microbes, is it very similar, or is there differences when you're looking at these emotional states?
It can be. Like there's various different strains that would correlate with supporting depression and things like that in terms of probiotic strains. There's a lot of research out there. So for example, like maybe Lactobacillus acidophilus or maybe Bifidobacterium. But then there's also soil-based microorganisms as well that can be really, really beneficial. But the biggest thing that I would say in terms of depression and in terms of anxiety and things like that, particularly now within the pandemic, is looking at what you're putting into the diet as well. If there's a huge amount of highly processed foods, highly carbohydrate-rich foods, a lot of sugar, all of those would be contributing to a lot more inflammation, maybe some potential nutrient deficiencies. So again, you're looking at things like, particularly with depression, you're looking at things like omega fatty acids, you're looking at chromium, zinc, you're looking at vitamin B12, vitamin B2. So all of these have a huge effect, as well as probiotics. So if you're trying to connect that gut-brain axis, and it's a bi-directional system. So if there is issues there for you in terms of mental health, then definitely look at the gut health as well. Do you experience a bloated or distended stomach? Do you experience like issues of malabsorption in terms of, is there kind of food particles left in your stool? Do you have a irritable bowel pattern? Look at those as well in connection with the mental health. And definitely then putting in a good probiotic can really, really help to reconnect and now, not just one thing, but there's lots of other things there to take into account.
Totally, yeah.
But I suppose, it is something that can really, really help support clearer thought, less stress, things like that.
Fantastic. Amazing. Okay, guys, we're talking about microbes at the moment. If you guys have comments, questions, please put them in the YouTube, the Facebook, or the Instagram channels, whichever way you're following us from. After the break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about toxins, and Orla's going to give us even more insights and understanding about that. Coming up just after this.
Get ready to commence your sub-30 core workout in 30 seconds. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You've done this.
Finished your sub-30 core workout. Well done.
Hey guys, welcome back to Fitness TV with Fine Fit People. Today we're talking about microbes and toxins. So if you do have your comments, questions, you want to find out a little bit more about the creepy crawlies, chuck your comments in the comment section and let us know for that. Orla, thank you again for joining us all the way from Ireland. It's nice and early in the morning there. Well, it's not too early, it's only like 7:30, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's fine.
It's fine, absolutely fine, easy. So we're talking about microbes, there might be some questions come in afterwards about microbes, but let's talk about toxins, because it's a big one. Obviously, people always hear the word, they heard the term. Let's start by clarifying toxin. What is a toxin?
Absolutely. So toxins are, again, compounds that we're exposed to in various different aspects of our environment, and also our food chain, and also various different, we produce toxins from byproducts, from metabolism byproducts ourselves as well. So things like lactic acid after exercise, excuse me, but definitely looking at things like outside our environment is probably the biggest cause of our exposure to toxins. There's lots of different chemicals there that we have to kind of break down and utilize and try and excrete from the body.
Mm-hmm. It's not the old thing they see on the nuclear power plants in the West, like
it can be for our bodies sometimes.
Oh, true. Yes,
just depending.
Let's get straight into that. We're stepping along. Like, what is the main effects that people are seeing when there's too much toxins in the body? Well, the main symptoms, maybe the word is.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's various different things in terms of, I suppose the biggest one is an endocrine disruptor. So that means that, toxins can take hold where an actual hormone is supposed to go. So there's like hormone mimicry. So the toxin will take hold in that receptor and then cause an awful lot more damage in the system rather than the hormone getting that space. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at hormonal imbalances with toxins. You're looking at things like you can look at fatigue, you can look at seizures, you can look at you can take autism into that, you can take digestive issues into that, you can take skin health into that. There's loads of various different ways that they can take hold and create these symptoms within the body as well.
Mm-hmm. What are is there physical symptoms that people will see first, like sore stomach, headache, cramp?
Yeah, it can vary. It can absolutely vary. So if you're looking at, in terms of hormonal, you're looking at maybe potentially in females, you're looking at amenorrhea, which is missed periods. You're looking at maybe a longer cycle. You're looking at an imbalance there. You're looking at huge amounts of PMS in terms of pain, disruption, that kind of thing. You can definitely be looking at cramps. You can be looking at a digestive upset, and then if there's any kind of parasite or anything like that, you can go into like maybe diarrhea or those kind of symptoms. But definitely, a lot of the time they can be asymptomatic as well. You mightn't necessarily know that there's a lot of toxins in there. So it's a matter of assessing your environment and also getting tested as well is quite helpful to figure out what's kind of coming out of the system.
Yeah. What about then when you look at it like this, from a point of toxins, when you talk about it, is that so when I was thinking, is it mainly with the foods we're bringing in, or is it the environments that we're putting ourselves in is where these toxins are mainly coming from?
It's probably a little bit of both, but what I would say in terms of the food that we're bringing in, you're looking at pesticides, you're looking at herbicides, you're looking at sprays, all of those various different things that are put on our fruit and vegetables. And you're also looking at maybe things that cows are eating, or pigs are eating, and then we're kind of getting that in the food chain then as well. So it's various different things like that in terms of antibiotics and in terms of those kind of things. Then you're also looking at personal care products. So you're looking at things like sodium lauryl sulfates, you're looking at all of those bisphenol A, like water bottles, plastics. You're looking at cling film wrap that you're putting into a microwave and that leaching into your food as well when it's being heated. So our exposure is actually huge. And then when you go into like environmental things, you're looking at maybe petrochemicals, you're looking at flame retardants, you're looking at all of these things, and it very much depends on your exposure and your where you are. So if you live beside a petrol station or gas station, for example, then you're ingesting an awful lot of that fumes as well. So it's not trying to necessarily move out of that environment. I think the thing with toxins and detoxification of these toxins is that it's a slower process. So you can maybe look at, can I reduce the household products that I'm using? Can I reduce the amount of bleaches? Can I reduce the amount of those harsher chemicals, detergents, to a more eco-friendly and to a more natural substance? Can I change my personal care products? Can I get ones without sodium lauryl sulfate? Can I get ones without bisphenol A, phthalates, all of these various different things? Makeups is a huge one as well. But then you're also looking at our ability to kind of get rid of those as well. And as I say, it is a process. It's not something that you need to change overnight. But looking at your water supply, looking at your pots and pans, like there's so many different things. But it's I don't want to fearmonger either. But it's just about kind of making sure that there's small little changes that you can put in place to kind of reduce your exposure to those. If you need to, if you're trying to get pregnant, if you're struggling to get pregnant, if there's various different issues there, if you have a child that is constantly coming out in a rash with, various detergents from, the washing machine, whatever that is, there are various different steps there that you can take to try and reduce that.
What would be then because you're right, it's such, and I don't want to ask such a broad question, you're like, whoa, what's going on, right? But there's
it's huge.
It's massive. So maybe we need to refine let's come back down. You said there's a couple of things you talk about, like with hair products and dishwasher detergent and things like that, and where you live and stuff like that. What about, I don't know if we can be, but maybe more specifically around your training area. Is there things that result with toxins around the training area that people can avoid or should look to avoid? Like, for example, being too much electronics. I don't know, to be honest. I'm just kind of asking.
Yeah, I think like within the fitness industry, there's huge exposure to toxins as well, in terms of looking at protein powders, in terms of looking at maybe electrolyte drinks with higher sugars or higher additives or those kind of preservatives and things like that as well. So there are small things that you can definitely be more aware of in terms of trying to reduce that. So always trying to aim for things that are a little bit more natural, and making sure that you know and understand the ingredients on the back of your protein tub if you are taking protein, because there's so many different heavy metals, there's so many various different compounds in there that your body doesn't recognize. If you can't really read it, you're like, what is that? What does that mean? And then things like particularly in the skin range as well, in terms of like moisturizers and creams and shampoos and all that kind of stuff, definitely looking at reducing those as well, because for your skin is a very, very porous organ, and it doesn't have the benefit of the filtration system in terms of the liver, so it just kind of is directly absorbed into the skin and into the bloodstream very quickly. So again, if you can, looking at things that, particularly makeups for females as well, or males, and particularly those kind of shampoos and shower gels after exercise as well, making sure that you're trying to give things that aren't as harsh on the system.
Massively. Okay, let's take away from that side then, and let's take into another space, another area, I suppose, with the workplace. I mean, there's so many different situations in places like that. There's the gym, there's the house, the workplace. I mean, is there jobs that we should maybe be avoiding? Is there things we could be avoiding around the workplace? when it comes to the
we are going to be exposed to a huge amount of these things anyway. So people that are working in maybe industry and chemical processing and cleaners and all these people that are exposed to these various different things are going to have a higher level of that. So it's really making sure that you're improving your detoxification system and you're really helping your detoxification system. And by that I mean like drinking good filtered water, making sure that there's kind of as little stress as possible in the system, making sure that there's good greens in there, putting in things like chlorella, spirulina, those kind of things, activated charcoal kind of as binders as well to really help the system. Kefir, exactly, yeah, absolutely. So there's small things that you can do in terms of reducing that exposure, but if you work in an industry that is really, there's a lot of toxins in it in terms of, that kind of more industrial, then it's definitely looking at boosting the system rather than leaving the job. I mean, we have to be realistic about these things. So if you can really help support yourself in terms of that detoxification, because you're not in a position to remove the exposure, then, there's a few things that you can do.
Massively, 100%. Guys and girls, look, this topic is massive. And we're by no means we're trying to cover everything in one little small session. No. So in saying that, I know you've probably got questions, I know you've probably got thoughts. You can put them in the comment section below, whether on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. But the best way is to get a hold of Orla herself. Orla, where exactly can they get a hold of you?
So thank you so much. People can get a hold of me I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, and it's Health by Orla on all, or Orla Mclaughlin, I think is on LinkedIn, or visit my website, healthbyorla.com.
Cool, Health by Orla, there you go. The name speaks for itself. It's all incorporated into one side. Orla, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I know it was a little bit early, it wasn't too early, it was a little earlier in the UK, which is fantastic.
Yes.
Really appreciate that. If you guys, you can check out more stuff with her on her social pages, her website. You can also see a few of her education sessions on findfitpeople.tv on the education channel as well. She's got lots of amazing, informative stuff that is very useful for everyday life for yourself and for your friends. So definitely look to share that as well. Orla, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day over in Ireland. It's been an absolute pleasure as always, and we will talk with you shortly.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Guys and girls, thank you again from Fitness TV, Find Fit People, doing this daily, 10 a.m. onwards. We're bringing in new guests. In fact, we've got a lineup of guests throughout August. Lots of different topics, lots of information that we'll be talking with you about. So jump on any of the social media channels at Find Fit People. That's where you'll find us. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, you name it, we're on there. And we're engaging with you guys. So fire off your questions and your topics for that. Tomorrow we're talking with my brother, Brother Baz from Cairns, Australia. We're talking about the outdoor lifestyle. We're talking about activities globally in the outdoor adventure world, and also hopefully we can find a little bit of information what we found out about one of the mega adventure races that happened recently in 2020 before the COVID-19 pandemic hit. So until then, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, stay active, and we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. on Find Fit People.